lot of confusion about what happens to a family trust at 21 years in Canada. Does it die? Do you have to wind it up? Can you reset the clock? I've heard all of it, and most of what's floating around online is wrong. So let me clear up the big ones, because believing the wrong one here is going to be expensive. Just for some quick context, in case this is the first time we're meeting, I'm Henry Wong, a CPA CA with 20 years in practice. I've personally trained over 10,000 CPAs across Canada, and I spent years inside Rogers, one of Canada's most iconic family-controlled companies. Between that and 2 decades advising on the inside, I saw how family enterprises are really run and how rarely anyone talks about the structure that's underneath them. So that's why I wrote the book, The 7 Structures of Wealth. And that's the lens I'm going to be sharing with you in our conversation today. Myth number 1, and this one's the big one. The trust does not die at 21 years. It doesn't have to be wound up or dissolved. A lot of people actually believe that. It's wrong. The trust keeps going. What happens on that anniversary is what's called a tax event. The law treats the trust like it sold everything it holds at full value, even though nothing was sold. So the growth inside of it becomes a taxable gain in that 1 year. The structure lives on, it's just that the bill is the part that shows up. So here's the second myth. Can you actually reset the clock? You can't. You don't get to reset the 21 years by shuffling things around. People used to try versions of that, and the rules have actually closed them off. So you can't reset it. What you can do is actually reposition before it. And what that looks like depends entirely on your situation. So there's no off-the-shelf move. Here's the third myth, and this one catches people who already own assets. You can't just move things you already own into a trust to solve this. If you try to move assets that have already grown into a trust later, that move itself can be treated as a sale, taxed on the way in. That's why the timing of the original setup matters so much. You point future growth in early for almost nothing before it has grown. You don't shove a grown asset in at the end. And one thing that's current, because it matters right now, this past November, in the 2025 federal budget, the government tightened the rules on exactly this kind of planning. Some moves that worked a year or 2 ago doesn't work the same way today. So whatever you were told when you set things up is worth a fresh look. Not because anybody messed it up, it's because the ground has changed, it's moved. So the trust doesn't die, you can't reset the clock, and you can't fix it at the last second by stuffing assets in. What you can do is plan early, and that's the whole message. So if this cleared up something you've been unsure about, subscribe. Next is going to be the uncomfortable question. Do you even need a family trust in the first place? And this answer is going to surprise you. Most people don't. I'm Henry Wong, the wealth structurist. And remember, no one cares about your wealth more than you do.